Welcome back. We're here for another Who Dat. This one is going to be covering Jalil Farooq. In Brandon's opinion, the most underrated, underappreciated recruit the Sooners have gotten in the
It's
2021
without a
class.
doubt. It's without a shadow of any doubt.
So, um,
He's
which
not here
that's
to take
very
part.
fair. That's fair. He's here to take over, right? So, we just wanted to say, if you hadn't already, hit that subscribe button, the like button, follow us on our socials, Twitter, Instagram, and obviously here on YouTube. And then we really appreciate all the support you've given. Any comments, let us know what you think about it, and turn on that notification bell so we can keep you up to date. And with all football being a couple weeks out or a week or so out, it's right around the corner. So we'll get into Jalil Farooq. For anyone that doesn't know, 2021 class, number 123 overall player and the number 21 wide receiver in the class. 6'1", 200 pounds. So he's coming to OU already pretty much probably the optimal size they're going to want him at, maybe 205 at most. He's from Upper Marlboro, Maryland. He played at Dr. Henry Wise High School up there in the DMV area. Had a terrific, high school career. Junior year, he didn't play a senior year because of COVID and whatnot. They didn't play in the fall or the spring. So these stats are from his junior year, but he had 718 receiving yards, 11 touchdowns on
Hold on.
31
Tell him how many
catches.
catches though. Tell him. Oh
Yeah,
yeah, 30. Okay, yeah.
31 catches, 668 rushing yards, 11 touchdowns on 65 carries. So his receiving average was just about 22 yards a catch, and his rushing average was just under or just over 10 yards a carry, which are both pretty elite. And he also played some defense as far as 35 tackles, 11 passes defended, and 3 interceptions as a junior, or I guess his last year playing there. He had offers from all over: Alabama, Clemson, Penn State, Ohio State, Michigan, LSU, a bunch of other places. He was another one of those guys that he could have probably gone really anywhere that he wanted to. And obviously, he chose the
Well, you just
Sooners.
rattled it off. He could have gone anywhere.
Pretty much every big school out there wanted him. So he very highly rated, great junior year, senior year, whatever you want to call it, of high school stats, and he a very versatile play on both sides of the ball. Brandon, I know you're chomping at the bit on him, and you're a big Jalil Farooq guy. How about you lead off and let us know what you think about him?
Big Jalil Farooq guy. First of all, he's a freak. He's a freak. I mean, if you average 10 yards a carry, you know how stupid that is? That means you give the guy the ball in the backfield, he's getting you a first down every single time he touches the football. To have 650 rushing yards on 65 attempts is the dumbest stat of all time. Not only that, averaging 22, so he gets you 2 first downs every time he catches the ball. If it carried over, like with 22 yards per catch, he's buds with Caleb Williams. He's got tremendous size. I mean, there's absolutely nothing not to love about this kid. I don't know why nobody talks about him or talks about him more than he needs. He needs to be discussed in all Sooner circles because this kid is going to be a monster. He's going to be the best receiver in the Caleb Williams era.
It's a hot take.
That is a hot take.
That's a very hot take. What's coming in the 2023 class?
Boom.
Oh, and I mean, I agree. This guy, from watching his tape, and obviously, like you both said, he is physically ready to be playing it at the college level. I mean, it's 200 pounds when you're 18 years old. You don't really want to get much heavier than that, especially with how this guy moves. I think the 247 scout explained it as carries 200 pounds like it's 185. He moves. He's very agile. What impressed me most was not only his ability, to high point the ball and get contested catches, but his ability to get everyone to get by every defender. He wasn't tackled very easily. There's plenty of little highlights that you can see.
Probably why he averaged 10 yards per carry rushing.
Yeah, and there was plenty of highlights where you see him juking through 3 defenders. If you want to think back to an example like CD at the Texas game, like this guy had plays like that very regularly in high school, and he can very much transfer in college. And like you both said, he was very good friends with Caleb growing up. He's childhood friends with him. I'm sure he came to OU because of Caleb, probably a big factor in that decision. And I don't see him being the best receiver in the Caleb Williams era, but they will be very important, and they're both gonna rely on each other. Especially Caleb will rely on Jalil during his first year starting. I think that connection is going to be important for his first year to really succeed and continue and be a good successor to Spencer.
Yeah. And you brought up, that he probably weighed on his decision to come to the Sooners because of Caleb Williams. Well, he did visit unofficially before COVID shut everything down. He did visit Penn State 3 times.
But he's
three
not a
separate
wrestler.
times. Yes, I know. But the fact that anywhere you go, you go anywhere 3 times unofficially, it's got to count for something. So, for the Sooners to win out against him, I remember his recruitment coming down. He didn't sign or announce till right as the National Signing Day happened. There was some serious competition between them and Penn State. And I even think Maryland was in it a little bit, just because they're the hometown, home state. And so, but yeah, I think the thing I like the most about him is definitely his size. He's already at the playing weight that he needs to be at, but he's also a very strong route runner. He knows the route tree. He's not coming in like, just a very raw athlete. He's young and, they can mold him to wherever they need him to be, but he really seems to know all the routes that he needs to run. And
he reminds me more of Sterling Shepard than anybody in the history of Oklahoma football. As far as receivers go, because they have the same frame.
Mm-hmm.
They have the same frame, but he's more athletic, more freaky coming out of high school than Sterling was.
Yeah,
a good thing about Jalil is he can also play any spot on the receiver in the receiver lineup. Like if you line him up at slot, he'll succeed there because he's going to be much bigger than any nickel, more than likely that's going to cover him. And he's got the athleticism and ability to play receiver on the outside and get contested catches, make sure that he's put in a position to succeed anywhere. So I think he's going to be, and again, important to Caleb's success because he can move around on either side of the ball and line up at slot.
Yeah. Now my question is, yeah, Brandon, you brought up that, and I even agree with you. I don't think he's really talked about it at all. But do you see him contributing much this fall? Do you think he's going to take a red shirt? I would imagine he's going to take a red shirt.
In the Caleb Williams era.
And I wonder if Mario, not that Mario isn't good because Mario is really great, but I think Mario is more of a burner than Jalil would be. And I think we already have a couple guys, Jaden Hazelwood and Theolis.
Yeah, but what's going to happen is Jaden Hazelwood is going to be gone after next football season. Drake Stoops likely, he might, I don't know. We'll see what about him. Marvin Mims is likely going to be gone after next football season. Maybe he might play one more. I don't know. But at some point, what you're going to get is this core of the 2021 class, meaning Mario Williams, Jalil Farooq, pretty much those two. And then Raleigh probably in the 23 class, who I think is going to be dynamic too, and Brandon Ennis and DeAndre Moore and guys like that, Mekhi Lemon, they'll be waiting in the wings as Jalil Farooq and some other guys are for this particular season.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a transfer come in as well, someone that we're not expecting right now. I think there's going to be someone available that's going to come in and be able to contribute with Williams and Farooq. It'll be interesting to see if Hazelwood and Weiss are both have great enough seasons for them to go to the league this year. I almost wonder if it's going to be one or the other. I don't know if they both will end up leaving because they both will have eligibility left. It's just going to be interesting to see.
The problem is how long can you sit around and wait for those guys to blossom instead of giving some younger talent the chance?
Well, that's fair.
I want Weiss and I want Jaden Hazelwood to have huge seasons, obviously. But, if they don't this year, let's just say, Weiss, I think Weiss gets categorized with Hazelwood too much because Weiss has actually produced. Maybe not to the degree we want, but he's not been a bad receiver in college. Jaden Hazelwood has not done anything yet. So, if Jaden Hazelwood specifically doesn't produce this year, how long is that that leash? When do we just?
Well,
it's time to move on to the next guy.
Well, that's fair. I mean, I do think that they're going to protect him for his, his red shirt this year, and that's what they're going to do for sure, barring some crazy injuries. But I just wonder, not saying that Hazelwood or Weiss don't both play well this year. I'm just wondering if one of the two just won't get enough looks because there's so many mouths to feed. And if one of them did declare for the draft, they might be like a second round talent, but would get taken in the 5th round just because of the playing time issues. And I just wonder if either one of them leaves and Mike Woods goes to the NFL, you open up 2 slots and then you bring in the duo of either it's Weiss or Hazelwood, and then one of those two, and then Farooq. And then that's how they play. Or you throw Farooq on the other side where Mike Woods was, but Mario Williams is there. So I kind of wonder if that's how it's going to work.
What Farooq has, though, is he has Caleb Williams, who's going to be in his corner because Caleb Williams knows him, comfortable with him. I imagine Caleb Williams and Jalil Farooq have probably played catch/ran routes 1,000 times. They probably know each other very, very well. And Caleb Williams, as Hose mentioned, especially as a freshman, is going to want that rapport, that chemistry with somebody. That's going to be on the side of Jalil Farooq no matter what.
Yeah. I mean, I do think he's going to be great. I think he's just a victim of depth right now, and that's why we're not hearing him as much. Williams fits more of the mold of what the Sooners are needing right now. But I think Farooq long-term in the next 2 to 3 years is going to be producing like no other. I really think if one of those Hazelwood or Weiss wasn't here, I think Farooq would be that 1A, 1B, starting with whoever else would be actually here. So I do agree, but you never hear anyone talk about Farooq. And
it needs to be talked about.
While your take is a hot take, but I do agree he's going to be 1,000-yard receiver or more, in probably his last season that he's here, whether that's sophomore, junior year. He's going to produce pretty well.
Yeah, so. I think he'll get to play once Caleb is the quarterback. I think right now with Spencer's abilities, we need burners. And not that we won't need them when Caleb is around, but I mean, right now we want to make more plays down the field. Spencer he's got an arm to throw it almost a full length of the field. So why not take advantage of that, right? And to Brandon's point, we will more than likely see a couple receivers leave after this season. Marvin, I think the only one that won't be able to leave after this season is Marvin Mims. I think everyone else will be draft eligible. It'll just depend on performance, playtime, all that stuff. So we'll just see. I think Brandon might be too much of a Jalil fan to say he's going to be the best receiver in Caleb there. But I mean, it's very possible just because they already have the rapport. Like he said, they probably played catch and run routes, practiced 1,000 times. So they have that camaraderie and that comfort with each other. But I don't know. Well, I guess it'll be fun to watch him and Mario pretty much take advantage of the DBs on the opposing team as Caleb just slings it.
That's the future receiver of this team. And I think we're in great hands with both of them. I can't wait for their time.
Yeah. I mean, going back to the very beginning, receiving yards, 22 yards a catch, or 22 yards per catch, and then over 10 yards a carry as a junior in high school. That's the most
ridiculous stat of all time, though, is the 10 yards per carry thing.
Yeah.
To average a first down every time you rush the ball is stupid. I don't care what level you're at. That's ridiculous.
Yep, and 22 total touchdowns as his junior season. And just think about what he would have done.
He had 11 touchdowns on 31 catches receiving.
I know, so a third of his catches
resulted in 6. I don't know why he's not talked about.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't see other people talking about him, but I'm sure we will in the next year or two. So we'll definitely be keeping an eye on Twitter.
If you see this, bud, I got you.
I mean, we're all Jalil fans, but you're just a bigger Jalil fan than we are. So, no, it'll be good. And we all have our guys that we think are going to be great. Big Danny Stutzman guy right here. And so we'll see. But all right. You guys have any final thoughts before we wrap it up and finish it up? Okay. Well, if you made it this far, we really appreciate it. Hit that like button, subscribe to our channel if you hadn't already. Football's right around the corner. A lot of good stuff coming your way. Game previews, post-game analysis, anything that's going in the Big 12 or what's going to be left of the Big 12. We're going to be keeping you guys up to date on that. So make sure to hit that subscribe button, notification bell, and comment and let us know what you think about Jalil Farooq. And if you're a big enough or a biggest fan that Brandon is of him, let us know what you think. So we appreciate it.